What is up, guys? Frankie here with cleverprogrammer.com. I'm here with my friend Amaanath. What's up, Amaanath? How we
Yo,
doing?
what's up, guys? How's it going? So glad to be live with you guys and share some knowledge.
Hell yeah, man. I love this kid. Today, we're going to be talking about learn web development in 2021. So, we're going to discuss the best ways that you can learn web development as an absolute beginner. And it's awesome because Amaanath's developer journey is very recent as well, right, Amaanath?
Yep, exactly. So
How
I
old,
started
how old are you, by
right
the
in
way?
April. So,
Oh, April, nice. Go ahead.
yep. So I kind of started in April, but I was working with Python for a while, about like 1.5 years back. But so this is kind of new, and I've also like learned a lot about what web development is like, and like kind of like a fast track way you can go and also a lot of resources that you can use and everything.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. So we got a fresh perspective on it, and then also just the whole company's perspective on it. So let's move forward with this web development 2021. Obviously, for you to pick up web development, the first thing that you got to do is pretty much just do it. Like my friend Shia, I don't remember his
Yo.
last name. What's his last name?
Whose last name?
This guy, Shia
Oh,
LeBeuf or something. Okay. Anyways, so if you want to learn web development, you have to start on it, guys, and that's the best way. If you do enjoy our content, we're putting out fire content every single day. We're going live for you guys, teaching you guys the best resources for web development and just the best projects in general that'll help you land a job. So if you do enjoy that specific content that we put out, what should they do, Amaanath?
just go smash that like button, guys. Just
Hell yeah.
smash it.
Hell yeah. I love these animations, by the way. So what's going on here in the chat? Okay. Where's Sunny? Sunny is actually working on some React modules for Profit with JavaScript, guys, and that's going to be awesome. And what else do I see here? First video, Nikhil. Is it first video? Nikhil, what's up, man? How you doing? It's not our first video, but maybe maybe it's your first video from us. Frank reminds me of Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley. Damn, that's awesome, dude. That guy is freaking
Hey,
awesome.
let's go.
Anyways, guys,
Awesome.
I stole this slide from Sunny, speaking about Sunny, and I think it's really amazing if you guys right now just pay attention to this live stream, because if you do, at the end of this live stream, you're going to get out to the best roadmap that you can get as an absolute beginner to actually learn web development. So get your phone out right now, put it on Do Not Disturb, and turn it back on when we're done with this presentation. Hell yeah. So this is how we start. Do you want to explain a little bit about this, Amaanath?
Yeah, so when you're starting web development, you must have an end goal in mind because that's finally it, right? So when you're starting with a football match, that's what we put this GIF right over here. Why do you start to
Messi.
play football or you're starting with a match? Your end goal is just have more goals than the opposite team. So this in web development or in your career as a web developer, it's not you're competing against another person. It's kind of like competing with yourself. So when you're starting out, have an end goal in mind. Like when I started, I had an end goal of creating a web application for my dad's education institute. So it's kind of like still under creation. So that was my end goal. So I was thinking like when I started in April, I would be able to create that application by November. But the thing is, it takes a lot of time and you must be dedicated and always just persevere, be relentless, just keep going, but always have an end goal in mind.
That's a beautiful way to put it, man. End goals are really your destination, so always keep it in mind. And a good, motivation or end goal that you can actually look into, make it tangible. Sometimes we got end goals that we never actually take into practice. Something that really does, show how much practice you've had is, and it's not for, I'm kind of generalizing here, but obviously, the amount of money that you can earn on a job really kind of objectifies the way that like your skill. It makes your skill
Exactly.
objective, right? So the better programmer you are, the more you're going to earn. So this is an example that
Exactly.
we decided to just pull up out of Indeed.com, and it shows the actual junior front end developer salaries in the United States, and it's actually higher than this in a lot of different what's it called, states. Like California is a little bit
Yeah.
higher, But overall, in the country, this is what you earn going in as a front end developer, a junior one.
Exactly. And also, what when people see that name saying United States, they think like, okay, so since it's in the United States, you might not get paid as that much in countries like India or UK or countries in Africa. Like they might think that they might not get the same pay, but the thing is, with the current trends, like with the COVID-19, it's everything is remote work, right? So literally, you can work for a US company from staying in India or staying in the Africa. Like right now, I'm in Sri Lanka and I'm working with Clever Programmer, which is in the US, right? So that is possible, guys. So don't think that when it says it's United States, it does not mean kind of like it's only based in the US, but remote work also pays you the same amount of money.
Man, I
And also
love that.
like when Kazi says like it's money.
Yeah, yeah, man, I love that perspective. That is so true. And guys, it is true. The world is very global right now in this moment because tech is that advanced. But even like Amana said right now, the whole COVID thing happening, everybody's working remotely. We actually are gonna have a student for one of our personal mentorships to become a pro. He wants to become a junior developer, and we're gonna help him just do that specifically. He's gonna work hand in hand with Kaz and the whole Clever Programmer team, and he is from East Africa. He's from East
Oh
Africa.
shit,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, 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 and it's amazing, man. So this kid was able to pay the mentorship, and he's actually working for a firm in New York. So it is very true. We live in a time right now where you can actually get jobs anywhere, and yeah, Amaanath has actually been working with us for quite a few months now, and man, this guy was giving so much value that it would be hard for us not to get him as a company, and him working with us, being part of the team and everything. So that's just an example of how perseverance really does help you a lot in life, and even dictates even more than where you're coming from. So
Exactly.
moving forward with this, if you do want to become an actual web developer or earn six figures with JavaScript, we have one of the most amazing resources right there, right now on the web, and it is called Profit with JavaScript. And Profit with JavaScript is a course where Sunny, Nas, and Kazi, Nas being the main instructor of the course, teach you just, from the fundamentals to advanced JavaScript. Ultimately, to help you build your portfolio, help you build those skills, because nobody can take those skills away from you, and then land a job, which would be pretty much, a lot of people's end goal. Please, people, do not be spamming the chat, spamming it, because I will have to block you. Let's keep it very clean here because everybody's trying to learn, trying to bounce back ideas, and get some great insights from this. So moving on with this, you want to explain this a little bit, Amanath?
Yeah, exactly. So to learn web development, there are like you have to learn the foundation. With the foundation, there are stuff that you must know, like the tools, or it's kind of like the add-ons that you have for a developer. So number one, we have VS Code. So VS Code is where you're gonna be doing all the coding stuff. So that is VS Code, and then we have Git. Git is where you like store all your records. It's kind of like a time machine, and you can call it Doctor Strange of developers. When you make a mistake or you break your code, Git is there to save you, like go back in time, and that's what Git does. And then we have Firebase, which is really really powerful in like it allows you to do hosting. It allows you to have databases, mainly NoSQL databases. So it's really powerful, and that's what we are using for almost every build that we are doing on YouTube. And then we have GitHub. GitHub is an online code hosting repository. That is like you upload your code that you're working locally on your computer online, so you can collaborate with people from different parts of the world or even different parts of your company. So that is GitHub. And then we have Postman. So Postman is kind of like a backend kind of like stuff that does uses what do you say? It takes API calls and gets the data from the APIs. So that's what Postman does. So suppose you're working with a weather app with React and you want to extract with the data, what you do, you use Postman and extract all those data from an API. So that's what you use Postman for. So with all the basics like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, these are literally the really most important tools that you need to know as a developer.
Definitely, guys. So don't sleep on them. It's one of the most used. VS Code being one of the most popular IDEs right now in the world. Firebase being a heavy hitter right now in NoSQL databases and just non-server databases. Postman is awesome to test out, like Amaanath just said. The API calls. GitHub, now owned by Microsoft, is a huge Git repository, and Git is the way that you version control the code. So moving forward, just going a little bit deeper into these specific tools, one of the big tools that you're going to have to use is an IDE. And IDE pretty much, these actually are text editors, most of them. They're not really IDEs. But thing is, nowadays, we don't really need an IDE. We don't really need these huge clunky softwares like NetBeans and Eclipse and even JetBrains, what's it called?
WebStorm.
Huh?
It's called the WebStorm.
WebStone?
And also PyCharm.
And PyCharm too, yeah, exactly. All of those are heavy. VS Code is so light. It's no wonder. It's also owned by Microsoft. So Microsoft is not sleeping in the coding industry. These guys are buying everything that they can. It was actually developed by them. So VS Code is definitely what we use the most.
Also, like when people try to select, this is kind of like really crazy because people always kind of find a way to bring kind of like an argument when you're selecting something. Like even when you're selecting React, Vue, Angular, you always have a fight. You say one says React is better, one say Angular is better, one say Vue is better. And that's kind of the same thing for this. Like people say, no, you need to have WebStorm or you need to have PyCharm. It's not the thing, guys. The thing is you just have to start coding. That's the most important thing. So the most popular one being the VS Code, I think we can just, all the other IDEs or text editors are really great. I don't disregard them. Like Sublime Text is really great. Like when you consider Vim, that's really powerful. But the thing is, you must settle down to one thing when you are starting at the beginning. So when I say, when you're beginning your journey as a developer, VS Code is the best. And also there are things like you can add extensions and all this stuff to like power up your experience. Like you have tab 9 that autofills your coding, and then have Prettier that prettifies your code. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with VS Code that's not there in other text editors. So if you're starting coding, download VS Code, start coding.
Yeah, make it simple for yourself, This is what people do. They're trying to learn something and then they're like, okay, I need all of these tools. Now I have to master all of these tools. Then I'm going to become good at developing. No.
Exactly. And also like they all overcomplicate shit and think like, I need to have a fancy computer. I need to have all this fancy lighting. I need to have all these fancy softwares to start developing. That's not it.
And you have to check your mind, because when you do that for developing, then you do that for everything else. Then you start making excuses for everything.
Exactly. Seriously, yeah. Like when I began my journey, I was like thinking, wait, I need to have a really powerful computer. I need to really have something like this. I need to have fancy keyboard and all this stuff. But the real thing is, it's just you're finding yourself an excuse to just not do it,
You're logically kind of giving yourself an explanation or justification of why you cannot start doing, start coding right now, pretty much.
Exactly. And the reason I started in April, it's kind of, I just really love to share this. Is like I saw an Instagram post that literally said, like, if you don't come out of this quarantine or this lockdown without a new skill or without a side hustle started or without,
I've seen those memes. They're memes and just like motivational quotes and everything.
What they say is, if you don't come out with a side hustle or a new skill, you didn't lack time, you lack discipline, So that really hit me so hard, that made me think, okay, seriously, this is so true that we have a lot of time right now, that we are not just finding excuses. So that's what really motivated me to just start coding,
That's amazing, man. Something that I see in you is like you are such a hard worker and also you're very focused. So you do give a lot of good, energy to your time and your focus. So if you're doing something, you're actually doing that. And that's what I see a lot with people that just procrastinate a lot. They always leave things for later. And even if they're doing things right now, they're not here now. So that's really, really bad. It's amazing to see your growth, man, and growth in so little time. And I think that can serve as inspiration. So going back to the presentation here, stop making excuses. VS Code, download that, start coding right now. And also VS Code is cool because it has a huge community. And I actually forgot to mention this, but we did get a donation. It's amazing. Let me actually see if I can zoom into this.
Hey.
So it's a little bit blurry. So Shashank MV, thank you so much, man. Really, really appreciate it. 40 Indian rupees. Woo! Let's get it. First donation of the day, guys. Thank you so much. He says, hi, how do I become a writer on the CP Medium? That's awesome, man. If you guys don't know, we are actually dropping amazing articles right now on Medium, and they're getting thousands and thousands of hits, guys. And
if you're a good reader, go check it out for sure.
Yep. Some people don't like to watch videos. Some people like to read. And what type of articles do we have on Medium right now, Amaanath?
So right now we have uploaded the Amazon clone, we have the Spotify clone, we have the Airbnb clone. We are literally doing the same thing that we do on YouTube in written medium. So if you're like, you cannot spend hours and hours on a video and just coding it out, what you can do, go check out our Medium. Just go medium.com/cleverprogrammer and you'll find all the articles for the clones that we're doing. So also we have a lot of motivational articles and like how you should start coding and a lot of stuff. So do check that out for sure, guys.
That's awesome. Let me see if I can write it here for them. So it's going to be...
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be cleverprogrammer.com/
No, it's medium.com/cleverprogrammer.
That was my bad. Medium.com/cleverprogrammer.
Program.
So, guys, this is the link. If you guys want to check out the actual articles, I'm going to make it bigger for you guys. If you guys want to check out the articles, medium@cleverprogrammer.com is what you should be putting in your URL bar. And here you're going to see step by step how we create the builds that we're showing you on the channel. Also, just, get reading in your life.
Also, one thing, don't forget to give a clap, guys.
Yep. You go in,
As an appreciation.
read it. Exactly. We're giving a lot of value, guys. It takes time, money, effort, sweat, tears, and everything. So make sure to give a clap. I know we lingered a little bit more on the tools of Visual Studio Code and everything, but I think it's good, giving you guys a little bit of context. And also, we are at 230 likes right now, Amaanath. Man, that's insane.
That's awesome.
Thank you guys so
Let's
much.
go.
If you guys are enjoying this content, what should they do, Amaanath?
Just smash that like button, and if you haven't subscribed it, hopefully you will have subscribed. Just subscribe, and also don't forget to share this video with your friends and family or people who might be thinking to start to learn coding, because literally this is the best place, to be.
Yep. Make errors, find guidance, and start. Just start. So if you want to start, what language should I learn first? This is cool, and we actually were, while we were working on this presentation, we really wanted to make it so that you guys are able to understand and pick up, what is the fundamentals, what is the foundation of web development in general, and what is it, Amaanath?
So the reason also, I just want to say, the reason that we're doing this video, like there might be people who have already built all these clones and stuff, and might be thinking, why are we doing a really basic one today? The reason is that we saw a lot of people who are coming without a basic knowledge trying to do the React clones, and they don't find a lot of good guidance. So that is the main reason that we're doing this video. So if you have had troubles working on the clones, this is the best video that you can watch and learn from this and start applying and working and putting in all those work. Okay, guys? So back to the slides. So
So like, if you're,
yeah.
Sorry, no mean to cut you off, but if you want to learn the foundation, that's the first step, right? That's where you start so that you can go into React and build those projects. So this is what we want to dive into. And the foundations pretty much are going to be HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, Amaanath, can you give them an example of how HTML works and what is all of this?
Exactly. So HTML and CSS are not programming languages, guys. So they are just markup language and a style sheet, not a programming language. Okay. And also I've seen some of my students getting confused because the thing is when they start with HTML, CSS, it just goes really smooth. And when they come to JavaScript and they say, oh no, I just learned HTML, CSS, it was so easy. But when I started JavaScript, it was really hard because the thing is HTML, CSS is pretty much nothing. But JavaScript is programming language. Right? It's kind of like you trying to talk to a computer and make him understand, right? So that is JavaScript, and that's why it's harder than HTML and CSS.
Yeah, HTML and CSS are actually, in my opinion, very like human. They're kind of very human languages to understand. JavaScript is a little bit less. It's not as bad as Java, you know, or maybe C++ or something like that. But
it's way better than them.
Exactly. So this is an actual example of how HTML code looks and also the formatting and everything and how it actually looks on the websites. So I know there's a bunch of movement going on. There's a bunch of arrows pointing everywhere. But tell us how this works, Amaanath.
So you can see the H2 is like the tag that we use in HTML. So these are all tags, and within them we type in the text. This if you guys are really old and have seen really old websites like the old professor kind of websites, they are just simply HTML.
Really
they
old,
don't have
bro? That's
CSS.
the things that I freaking grew up with. What are you saying? Saying that?
Oh
I'm
yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
So when I grew up, we already had CSS, so I haven't seen much of websites like that. You know.
Yeah, now you're just bragging that you're that young. That's cool. Yeah, that's true. It's like early 2000 websites were so simple. They kind of look like this. A lot of schools' websites look like this. That's why, you know, if you're a student, it's good to get your school as a client because normally their websites suck. And that's what we've seen a lot, right? So right here, LI pretty much just means list. I believe this is this? No, this is just list. Unordered list.
Unordered list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unordered list, and this is how it actually manifests here. So it shows the bullets. I like apples, oranges, and then oranges. And then if you do want to add an image, you put image source, which is pretty self-explanatory. This is the URL of the image. Here's the image on the website. This is the width of the image.
The list is kind of like just coded out to me. Like, I like apples. Oranges are just okay for me. But my favorite is pineapple, bro.
Is that true?
What a coincidence.
Maybe you made this, bro. Who knows? And by the way, we got this from a cool YouTube video, which we were heavily based on. You guys should check it out. It has the same title, but 2020. And it's cool. You know, it's good to get inspiration from different places. I feel like that video really did explain things very well. And so that's where I got this specific screenshot. So shout out to them. I don't remember who the actual creator was.
It's called Coder.
Coder. Nice. Yep. Check him out. Thank you so much for that. So what about CSS?
So CSS, it's the style sheet. So what you do, you create this button on HTML and you see it's really lame. You don't have a lot of style and anything. So what you do, you use CSS, you color it, give it a border, you give it a width, you give it a height, and you know, it gives all the look and feel. It's kind of like the makeup, you know, for your website. So that's CSS.
Yeah, CSS is cool. I remember one of my teachers in college, he spoke about CSS as being, the stylizing of the web, but also the color, also the shapes, what you see visually. So a website with HTML looks like this. As you can see, there's no color, there's no sections, there's no separations, there's no effects, there's nothing. That's HTML. CSS is where it actually becomes colorful. And the way to do that is, if you want to get a little bit more advanced into CSS, obviously, you know, the foundations would be like we just explained here, these three. But going into the middle one, CSS, you know, frameworks of that, some of them could be, you know, CSS grids. Another one would be CSS Flexbox. Another one would be actually Bootstrap. So here's the frameworks. Some of them are libraries as well. But, you know, the cool thing about them is that, for example, if you're building a website, and you're building just any modern responsive website, most websites have a lot of similarities in designs. So you're going to find whether that's big photos that have, you know, a slight show or anything like that, maybe a video slideshow, maybe just, grids of actual items that they're selling, things of the sort. All of these things are already created for you, right? So in development, I think if you're just starting out, you have to understand that one of the biggest things for you is to become resourceful. And looking for these type of libraries like CSS Flexbox, Grids, Bootstrap, Material UI, all of these is going to help you, one, become resourceful, two, learn how to use different tools, and then three, use things that people have already done. So don't code from scratch, guys. That's really, really big. You want to mention something on this, Amaanath?
Kind of like, yeah, so it's kind of like you don't need to have a lot of code to become a better programmer. You must be resourceful. Like,
Exactly.
I've seen people like, no, I don't need to use all this stuff. I need to code all this stuff. It just only takes time, but it's really, it can be also annoying. Like, when you find a bug, it's going to take a long time for you to do. So when you're starting out, you don't always need to do everything from scratch. Always be resourceful. Like, CSS Flexbox is really great. Also, if you want to practice on Flexbox, go to flexboxfroggy.com. So flexboxfroggy.com is kind of like an interactive game where it's 25 levels. You can practice Flexbox. And also CSS Grids. It's kind of a...
Is it like this?
Flexbox
Flexboxfroggy.com?
Exactly, yeah. So CSS Grids, it's kind of like Flexbox on steroids. Like, it's kind of like the next level of CSS Grids. So it's a bit harder than CSS Flexbox, but it's also a really good thing. I mean, a really good concept to learn and apply in your websites. And other than that, there are CSS frameworks that you can learn, like Bootstrap, Material UI, Bulma, Materialize. There's a lot. The best and the most popular one is Bootstrap. So if you're starting out, I'd say the best advice is learn CSS and then go for Bootstrap or other CSS frameworks of your preference,
Yep.
But Bootstrap is the best.
Yeah, Bootstrap is the most famous framework for CSS in the world. Not kidding about that. So the only fundamental that is left now would be JavaScript. And
exactly.
What is JavaScript, man?
What is JavaScript?
How do you use JavaScript? How do you use it? What is it used for?
So JavaScript is what creates the functionality of a website. Like, you click this page, you click this button and suddenly a pop-up comes out, or it asks for something from you. There's a lot, everything, like all the interaction is because of JavaScript. I think we have that GIF right after this slide, right, bro? That really funny one.
So this is an example of JavaScript code. But I did want to mention JavaScript is amazing because, like Amaanath was just saying, it's the functionality. It's like that. It's like the 3D dimension of coding, of websites, if I can say so. Because, HTML and CSS are pretty, they're just design, they're just text. They're a way to stylize and share information. JavaScript, it's like if that's length and width. But
you can say
JavaScript
it has
is
the
height.
nervous system. Like, you can have a body, you can have a skeleton, you can have a body. If you don't have a nervous system, your body does not work. So
Man, that's
JavaScript is the nervous system of a website.
Whoa, that's a beautiful way to put it. Yep. It's what connects everything, pretty much. Exactly. It moves everything. So, okay, this is an example of a JavaScript code. And it's funny because everybody they thought about JavaScript as it not being, it was a joke in the beginning. I remember. It was a joke. People didn't take it too seriously. And this was like 2010 and stuff. And then everything started changing when it became super strong. So now it even has a little bit of backend with Node.js. Now you can pretty much do everything with web development. And this is a great example of what you can do with these fundamentals that we just taught you. So you want to explain a little bit about this?
Yeah, like you say, students who get bullied at school when they're young are the ones who shine really well at the end, right? So JavaScript got bullied and it started shining really well, right now. So, so HTML gives the skeleton for your website, like what you saw. It's really lame. You don't see beauty in a skeleton, right?
Yep.
That's how the same when you have pure HTML.
Oh wow, that's a great way to, bro. I love all your freaking metaphors. They're amazing. And by the way, don't mean to cut you off, but we just crossed the 300 likes on this video, guys. Thank you
Hey,
guys so
let's
much.
go. Thank
That
you guys.
deserves
Thank you
an
so
actual
much.
air horn. Let's play it, man. Thank you
Hey.
guys so much. We're at 309. Let's get it to 350, guys. That would be amazing. But don't mean to cut you off, man. You were saying skeletons are not that beautiful, so HTML, whoops, kind of resembles that, right?
Yep, exactly. And then what you do, you add a skin, you add some makeup, and you get CSS. So CSS is kind of like the skin for your website. Like it gives colors, it gives you a nice appearance, it gives all the width and height for all the buttons and all those stuff, you know. It just gives a beauty.
Yep.
And then you have JavaScript, it just goes,
Crazy.
you know,
It goes
crazy.
crazy. That's what JavaScript does. JavaScript just dances. So,
Exactly.
you know, let's say that you have a button in your website and you want that button to open up a link. You want that button to do something specific, to hide a column, anything like that. All of that action that's being taken is going to be actually directed by JavaScript. So
We just
JavaScript.
need Nas right over here to do a dance like that.
Yeah. That's why he loves JavaScript. You know, that's why Nas is the main instructor, because he dances just like this meme. So JavaScript is the functionality of websites, and all of these things put together are pretty much the foundation of web development. You need to learn this first before going into any framework, any library. Just make sure you understand vanilla JavaScript. You understand these type of basics of HTML and CSS and libraries for CSS. That's it, guys. It's not that complicated. So
when you say vanilla JavaScript, it's just pure JavaScript, you know?
exactly. That's why they call it vanilla, because JavaScript, like I said, it was what's that word? It was kind of like an underdog in programming languages, but as soon as it started getting super powerful, then you started to be able to do anything with it. The thing is, there's so much to do with JavaScript, it gets very confusing. So what you want to do is make it simple for you, learn the foundations, and learning the foundations of JavaScript is called vanilla JavaScript, which is just, you know, plain old JavaScript. From there, you go to frameworks like React, Angular, Vue, all of these. So, do you want to explain a little bit about this?
Yeah,
Amaanath?
so front end, back end, full stack. So that's what's like kind of like the second level when you start learning the basics, and then people ask, okay, so you have learned the basics. What's your aim? Is it front end, back end, or full stack? So for now, if you're just beginning out, just ignore full stack for a while, okay? And focus on front end or either back end. So if you're kind of like a really creative guy, you know about colors, like Frankie, you know, he loves colors and all this stuff. So if you're really creative, go with front end. And also, if you're kind of like logic and, you know, thinks like Kazi, go with backend. That's why he chose Python. So, but now you can choose. You don't really need to know Python for backend. You can learn JavaScript and learn Node.js and use Node.js as the backend, right? And also another thing is, I really like to make it as Node is, even if you're not creative, you can build a creative mind. Like, considering myself, I was literally, the designs that I'm making right now, I just cannot believe, because the thing is, the more you expose yourself to design and all this stuff, you start building those skills. It's kind of not a talent, it's kind of like a skill, you know?
That's true. You can build creativity. That's awesome, man. I would think that you're very creative, actually, because I've seen your designs, and I myself love design. So, you know, originally, as I was studying computer science, I wanted to become, I knew that I wanted to do something visual with it. First, it was a mobile developer. So I was like, okay, dope. I'm going to become an Android developer because I want to see the things that I create. I want to see them on my phone. I want to be able to touch them. I want to be able to interact with them, and I want other people to see it. Then after that, I was like, okay, like Android is kind of dying, but not really. Like, still in the world, a lot of people use Android. But I started using Apple, and I started falling in love with Swift, and I'm like, cool, mobile development is so awesome. But then I kind of started to fall a little bit more in love with design, which I wanted to go into UI and UX design. I think it's very important. As Amaanath was saying right now, you know, front end is more for people that are a little bit more visual. Don't let, you know, if you are very analytical and stuff, don't let that discourage you from learning it. But front end, it is regularly visual and what you see on the browser. Backend is
also front end is seriously really important as backend, because the thing is you can have a really good backend and have all this functionality, and finally if it looks like a lame website where you don't know how things interact and all this stuff, it's just going to be waste. So
Huge
front
point.
end, back end, both are really, really important. So
Yep. I would even say, I mean, both are very important, but yeah, I would even say front end is a little bit more important. I know I'm going to get hate for that, but I do really think that because, for example, if you didn't like the way that Instagram looks, if you didn't like the way that Facebook looks, you would never use it. If you don't like the way YouTube works and how efficient it is, how it looks, you would never use it. So front end is sometimes even more important than the back end, even though both.
and also
are
they
important.
won't even be watching this.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep.
If
Exactly.
YouTube wasn't like
You
it
wouldn't even
is
know.
right now.
So, going into the front end part of this teaching, these are some of the most popular front end frameworks out there right now. They're huge. So you want to mention a few of them?
So it's wartime.
It's wartime.
Yeah, because
yeah.
people literally fight a lot, right?
Yeah.
React,
See all the Reddit forums.
Angular, Vue,
Yep.
they fight a lot. So if you're a beginner, just ignore Angular and Vue for the time being, and focus on React. Because React, it's not because we do a lot of videos on React, it's because React is really easy, and it's also really lightweight because it's not a framework, it's a library, right? So if you are beginning, first learn the basics and learn basics of JavaScript, kind of like functions and how all this stuff works, and then go with React, and the best way to learn is building projects. So you can build projects like that. We have the Netflix clone, the Hulu clone, the Airbnb, we have all this stuff. So you can learn React just by literally watching all these clones, we have all this stuff.
So yeah, man, React is amazing because it's the next step if you do learn vanilla JavaScript. What's cool about this is that, damn, you get to realize how much tech companies, how much influence they have on the coding space, obviously. So React was made by Facebook. It's what they currently use, JavaScript library or framework that they use. Angular is made by Google. It's funny because Vue was made by an Angular developer. So, it's both of these are pretty much Google and this one is Facebook, and they're one of the most, famous frameworks for front end and JavaScript in general. And as Amaanath was saying right now, the best way to learn React right now, in my opinion, in YouTube at least, is go to our YouTube channel and check out all of these amazing projects that we build. So, what are some of these projects, Amaanath?
So we have, starting with the to-do list, which is the most basic one, we have the Netflix clone, the Instagram clone, the really, really advanced and the most amazing Amazon clone. We have Tinder, Hulu, COVID tracker. We have almost, I think, 20 clones.
Yep. Or even more,
So,
man. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's
like
so many.
once you kind of like finished with all these clones, you're gonna be the React god or the next Papa React.
Yeah. Guys,
You know?
seriously, if you guys are not playing and you do want to land a job as a developer, if you do want to up your skills as a developer, you need to start working on projects. And we decided as a team to work on, let's dissect the biggest websites in the world right now, the biggest websites and apps, and let's show people how to build them so that they can put it on their portfolio for free.
And also another reason that we are doing the clones is because the designs have actually worked,
Yep.
Because you can come up with an idea from scratch,
That's
but
huge.
the design might not work.
That's huge.
But the design of Facebook, the design of Instagram have worked, and that's why people are using it.
Yep.
And that's why we made a clone of those. So you can learn how you can build designs like that in your own projects,
Yep. We could have easily said, okay, let's teach them how to create a website with a database that pulls out movies and then maybe even plays trailers. Okay, we can do a tutorial like that, or we can just build Netflix, because Netflix already put in so many millions and millions of dollars into testing their UI, testing how their customers interact with the whole website. So just model these huge companies that have already tested out these things. That's the best way for you to learn, the best way for you to integrate, things that are efficient and effective, and not just be so hard-headed and thinking like, oh, okay, this design, like Amaanath was just saying, this design I think is gonna work because I really like blue and I really like squares. No, bro, that's not how the world works. Actually
Exactly.
model things that work.
And also the thing is, we students have landed jobs
Yeah.
just by doing these clones. Like Frank Ramos did the Spotify clone and landed a job at Sonos,
Yep. Yep.
which is the biggest US audio company. And
Wow.
then we have Jen, who landed a job like twice the amount of salary she has
Yeah, she was earning
just by building the COVID
46.
tracker.
I think she was earning 46,000, and then she started earning 96,000 after joining Profit with JavaScript and also building this specific video. Literally, this video got her a $96,000 job. She finished it, put her on a portfolio, and she got a job after losing her job in COVID, which is an amazing, amazing story. So yeah, guys, don't sleep on it. Pay attention to this actual content that we're putting out. It is real world, so take it into practice. Now, going a little bit deeper into the other side of web development, which would be backend frameworks. I know it's a little bit blurry, guys, so bear with us. So, these are the differences of 2018 and 2019, some of the biggest languages out there. So, off the bat, you can see that one of the biggest frameworks right now, sorry, I said languages, but it's frameworks. Some of the biggest frameworks right now on what's it called? Backend is going to be Node.js made by JavaScript. It's a different
Exactly.
JavaScript framework. And
The
then Angular.
benefit is the benefit of learning Node.js is because you just only have to learn one language, like suppose you are like if you go back about 10 or 15 years back, you didn't have Node.js. And the thing is, you have to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript for the front end. And then you gotta have to
Probably
learn something like
Java,
Python or Java or
yeah.
.NET to build the backend. But now the benefit is you just have to learn the same language to do both.
Exactly. And Node.js, a lot of people are liking it right now. A big community is being built up. It's really popping. It's really in. It's like the new generation of backend languages or frameworks. Sorry. So Angular was pretty big on 2018. Then it took a little bit of a dive in 2019, and .NET went up. So Pandas, which would be Python. Then React Native is another JavaScript framework. So all of these are the famous ones. Django, you can see. Spring is a Java framework, I believe.
Java.
Yeah, TensorFlow, it's also AI and Python. Xamarin is a hybrid.
There's a lot.
Yeah, it's a hybrid of it's hybrid development, just like React Native. Anyways, so these are all examples of backend. One of the biggest, most popular backend framework right now is what, Amaanath?
The MERN stack.
It is the MERN
And
stack.
also the thing is, we are doing MERN stack clones on our YouTube channel.
Damn.
So we got
man, don't mean to cut you
everything
off,
covered.
but this just came up, and Praveen. It actually came up like 2 minutes ago. I forgot to pull it up, but Praveen donated, had a donation of 20 Indian rupees. Thank you so much,
Thank
man.
you so
We really,
much,
really
bro.
appreciate that.
Really
Love you guys.
appreciate that.
Love the CP fam. I think that deserves a DJ air horn. Let's go.
Hey.
Thank you guys so much. We love you. We are at 377 likes. That is amazing, guys. Let's keep the energy up. We're about to finish this presentation, and you're going to take home some amazing knowledge that Amaanath and I am dropping right now. We were hitting on the MERN stack. So MERN is one of the most popular backend frameworks, like Amaanath was saying. And what else?
So we can say it's not kind of like the backend framework. It's kind of like the stack.
Combination of frameworks. Yeah.
Combination of frameworks that you use to create a full stack application. So we have MongoDB, which is a NoSQL database. We have Express.js. We have React as the front-end framework, and then we have Node.js as the back-end framework. A combination of all of these can help you build a full-stack application. And the thing is, while we were building the React clones, we built the same clones in MERN. So once you have mastered React, you can go do the same clone with MERN stack and learn all 4 of these technologies, So you're going to become Dr. MERN. Like David says,
Yeah. So these are actually all of the videos that Amaanath was talking about right now. We got the WhatsApp MERN clone, we got the Instagram MERN clone, the Tinder MERN clone, and the TikTok MERN clone. Learn how to build these, put them in your portfolio. They're actually so useful for you to get a job. People have already gotten them, like we were saying. Thing about this and MERN stack is that if you want to become very knowledgeable or you want to become a full stack developer, this is one of the stacks that most people are using. MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js. As we were mentioning, Node.js is one of the biggest frameworks for backend right now. React is one of the biggest frameworks in front-end right now. MongoDB is one of the most famous and used NoSQL databases out there. And then Express, what is Express? I don't know what Express is. Do you know?
Express is called the runtime I think, yeah, it's kind of like the runtime environment you create to run the application.
I see.
It's like the local.
Part of JavaScript.
It's kind of like the server kind of thing.
Okay, so it's Express.js. Nice, beautiful. So all of these things are super in right now. So learn the MERN stack. These are some of the resources that we provided for you guys. Maybe take a screenshot of this. We think YouTube might be one of the best one, and it's also free. So what's better than free knowledge education that can actually up every single different stage of your life, every part of your life, you know, from your monetary to your knowledge to your relationships. Learn it from YouTube, and honestly anything free. So what are other learning resources, man?
Then we have Free Code Camp. So you go to freecodecamp.org/learn. It's kind of like a modular based lessons. You get modular based lessons with quizzes, exercises that you can work on. So just go to freecodecamp.org/learn, and you can pretty much learn the whole web development. Learn for web development. Nice. And then we have Frontend Mentor. So Frontend Mentor is a really great place where you can practice what you've learned. So that is what I did. What I've asked my brother, it's kind of like a challenge that I'm doing with my brother, is he learns all this stuff, and then I ask him to do.
By the way, sorry.
My own brother.
Yeah, how old is he?
He's 15, I guess. Yeah, 15.
Nice. And you do a challenge with him?
Yeah. So I just want to inspire him, and he's taking challenges from Frontend Mentor, and he's killing it, and he's doing all those projects. You know, like I gave him a challenge to do a Slack clone. The Slack landing page, and he just did the same exact web page. You know.
Wow, that's crazy, man. And at 15, wow, like these things are not even taught in school. That's the cool thing about it. Like it's actual practical, real world knowledge.
No excuses, guys. You have all these free resources, and the thing is, you just got to do it. You know, the only thing stopping you is just doing it. Mm-hmm. So Frontend Mentor, you get challenges like they give you a landing page, and what you got to do is just recreate the same page from code. So that's a really way to practice what you've learned. And then we have W3 Schools and MDM Web Docs. It's kind of like the documentation for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And HTMLreference.io and CSSreference.io is also kind of like the same. So, and also two resources that I'd like to add to this is one is called Reactive Flux. So I think if you can type it out, that would be great.
Let's see.
Frankie. So it's called Reactive Flux.
Give me 1 second. So let's put it here. React.
T-Flux. T-I.
T-I.
No, it's just one T. Sorry, my bad. T-I-F-L-U-X. So Reactive Flux is a Discord. Yeah, Reactive Flux is a Discord server where you have around 150,000 React developers. And also, I got stuck in an error when I was working with React, and I just dropped only one message, and people started helping me because the most important thing when you're learning to code is having a community, like the Clever Programmer community, the best coding community you can find in the world. So if you cannot afford like PWJ or thing, you have a lot of stuff you can learn from, you know. Yep. No excuses. So check out Reactive Flux, and the other website is called reactresources.com, and you can literally find resources, free resources to learn anything in React. So Reactive Flux and reactresources.com. A bonus if you have been watching around till now.
Nice. Those are amazing, man. And it's great that they have helped you personally. I do want to mention that somebody just gave one Another donation, man. It's insane. People are going crazy.
This is insane.
Let me actually make it bigger for you guys. Here we go. So I think I have to go like this to share it. Oh man, I lost it. So anyways, let me take another screenshot of it really fast because we're really grateful for the people that do take their time to donate, man, because it doesn't matter the amount. What matters is really the intent. And we're all here to learn. If somebody can, do put more wood into the fire, that's amazing, man. And Harsha Modini says, what are your thoughts on Flutter 1 languages 3OS? On Flutter 1 languages 3OS. I don't understand the question completely.
I think he's asking about Flutter. So Flutter is mainly for web, Android application and iOS application development. So what you can, instead of even Flutter, you can learn React Native. So it's kind of going to become a big whole package for you. Like, you know how to create web applications plus mobile applications, which is really valuable. Like if you learn Flutter, you can only be developing mobile applications. But if you learn React and React Native, you can do both.
Yep, that's a great way to look at it, man. Flutter is the framework for the language Dart, and Dart is made by Google. So Flutter is cool because it's Google's response to Facebook response to hybrid development, which is pretty much making an app that works pretty much everywhere, Android and then also iOS and then also web development, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
and also another advice is like the thing is most people is kind of like they say what if I do Flutter? What if I do React Native? Or what if I do this? What if I do? It's not the thing. You just do it, bro. If you think, okay, I need to do Flutter, just dive in, try 1 or 2 months into it, and see if it's gonna work for you. If it does not, it's just not a waste of time. You just learned a lesson,
Exactly. Just test it out. Test it out. That's it. That's today's motto, pretty much. Just test things out. Don't take anything for granted. Don't give too much space or time to things. And
exactly.
We were speaking about a lot of resources right now. We think one of the best resources in the world as a developer would be definitely
Google.
Yep. It's
just
funny.
Google anything.
Yeah, man, it's funny. That's how you learn everything. That's how you answer all of your questions as developers. And a little bit ago, I was just mentioning that you have to be resourceful. And big portion of the development jobs have to do with researching and pretty much Googling things, man, because most people have already stumbled upon, the bugs that you have stumbled upon in your code. So there's a lot of forums like Stack Overflow. There's a bunch of, different resources in the web right now that can actually help you out with your problems. So this is a funny meme that we found, and it says, when you start working as a programmer, how to get data in C++, right? And then 10 years of experience later, you're still in Google and literally Googling the same thing.
The thing is, if you can't remember thing, it's not the motive of programming. The motive of programming is just creating solutions to problem. It does not mean like you need to remember how to create a dictionary in Python or how to create a function in Python. It's not the motive. The motive of programming is to create solutions to problems. So if you can't remember, that's completely okay and it's completely fine. You have Google as a savior.
Yep. You don't have to code things from scratch, guys. Most of the advanced developers that I know always are Googling stuff and even code faster than people that are coding from scratch. It just doesn't make sense. So people, and this meme right here says, not sure if I'm a good developer or I'm good at Googling. It's pretty much the same thing, man. It's pretty much the same thing now at this point. And I'll take off that image so you guys can see it. But moving forward, one of the big things about resources is that, resources help you learn, but ultimately what's going to help you learn the most is choosing a project to work with, just like Amaanath was just saying. Some of the projects that we've built for you guys are already on our YouTube channel. They're free for you to see. You can put them on your portfolio, maybe even land a job like most of, a lot of our students have. And this is one example of the websites that we've built. You want to add something to this?
So this is the Netflix flow, right? So choose a project, just work on it, And also a 3-step strategy that I use is when you're working first time on a project, like when you're watching a tutorial and doing it, just watch the tutorial and just code the thing up and make it working, So that's one accomplishment. And the second time what you do is you don't watch the video, you start on your own, like you got the idea of how the project is done, right? So what you do, you start coding on your own, and when you get stuck, you refer the video or the tutorial or the article that you did. And the third time what you do, you don't have access to the tutorial or the article or anything. Just start coding it up, and when you find yourself stuck, what you do, just Google it. Like, how can I create the date picker, or how do I create this component, or how do I style this component? Just Google it and try to build it on your own. That way it's going to concrete the knowledge in you, you know. Like, you, it's kind of like you go from beginner level to an advanced level in just one project. Like, you learn, because the reason why people are stuck in tutorial hell or anything, it's just they just copy paste code, or kind of like just see, okay, so he's typing use effect over there, I'm just typing it there. So you don't literally understand why you use effect over there. Why do you use the remove event listener? Why do you use this div, or why you use that div and all this stuff, you know?
Yeah, man, I completely agree. It's the difference between taking in information and making your information practical. That's it. It's like you can get information for the rest of your life, but if you never practice it, then the map is not the same as a territory, like people say. You know, a map is just it's just a symbol or representation of the territory that it's mapping out, right? So it's not the same thing. And put it into practice, guys. Don't lose your time. This is another example of one of the builds that we made, one of the famous videos that we released, actually, one of the most pop-in ones, and it's the Amazon project. In this Amazon project, we did it two ways. We did it with React and Firebase, and we also did it in the MERN stack, which uses MongoDB. If you guys want to learn how to build that, this is amazing. It's a full e-commerce functionality website, and we show you step by step. Not only do we show you step by step, but we even make it cool. We make it fun for you guys. It's not like you're gonna sit down and just program, right? Exactly, man. We make it fun. You know, that's the thing, and that's the whole point of Clever Programmer. Really, programming can be fun. It doesn't always have to be depressive, boring, and stale. So
programming is fun. So
yeah, man.
Have fun, guys.
You want to describe this a little bit, because Amaanath actually does a bunch, most of the posts, and Yusuf too, that we release on Instagram. Our Instagram has been growing like crazy. If you do enjoy this content, make sure to follow Clever Kazi so that you can follow the Clever Programmer Instagram. So you want to go a little bit deep into this, Amaanath?
Yeah, so tutorial hell or tutorial purgatory, which is really common with wannabe developers, you know, who just dive into coding. The reason why you are in tutorial hell. So before why you are in tutorial hell, what is tutorial hell? It's kind of like you feeling yourself that you are not making progress, and you're kind of stuck inside a loop of watching tutorials again and again and again. So how can I escape tutorial hell, right? So Frankie, we can just go to the next slide, bro.
Cool. I was just seeing that people are saying that there's an echo. Can you guys hear an echo? Drop it in the comments if you hear an echo. I don't hear one. But okay, cool. So what is tutorial hell?
So you follow along with tutorial and understand everything they do, and you do create what they do by coding along, but you cannot create things on your own and rely on tutorials for everything.
Yep. That's what you were just mentioning.
Exactly. So the reasons you're stuck is you find it easy to just keep following tutorials, because when you try to code things up on your own, you find it really hard, because it's just the beginning, guys. You know, you cannot become the greatest developer in just 2 months. That's not how it works. Just gotta put in the work, you gotta put in the motions, you gotta put in the dedication and all this stuff to become a great developer. So the reason is you find it easy to just follow all the tutorials. And the second thing, when you follow tutorials and you build projects just watching the tutorials, it gives you a sense that you're making progress. And the second thing is why you don't want to come out of tutorials is because you feel yourself as insecure when you come out of a tutorial, you know?
Yeah, I think very bad sound quality. Somebody say very bad sound quality. Is that better, guys? Tell us if that's better. I think they said that there was an echo. But, you know, tutorial hell is actually, give me 1 sec. So somebody says yes, somebody says no change. Cool. So tutorial hell is actually interesting because a lot of people find themselves there. It's actually kind of like one of the stages of growth, to be honest with you. And people find it easy so that, you know, you follow the tutorial, copy, paste the code, and they think that they're actually getting, what's it called? Advance. Progress. Exactly. Progress. And they're not. They're actually.
And also, another thing is, I like to say is tutorial hell is kind of like the word depression. You know, like when people get a bit sad, they say, oh no, I got depression. And like when new wannabe developers just get into coding, they say, you know what, I got stuck in tutorial hell. It's kind of like a, what do you say, a fashion,
Like
you know, to say, or kind of like a trend.
Yeah.
You know, you say, oh man, you know, I'm stuck in tutorial hell.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like looks cool when you're saying those stuff, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Now people started rocking it like they own it, so it's good and it's bad at the same time. So, you know, starting off with code, at the end of the day, practicing code is what's going to make you a better developer, not anything else. So people do ask this question a lot, and the question is, how long should I code every day? And Amaanath made a really cool diagram for you guys that I think can be very practical if you take it into practice, and this will greatly, massively improve your coding. So this is the 30-minute rule. You want to explain a little bit about that, man?
Yep. So the thing is, there are people who might be going for work and doing jobs and all this stuff, and they might not find enough time to do coding. So if you are really into it, the best way to start is doing 30 minutes every day. You know, if you don't have literally no time, just start doing by 30 minutes every day. And those 30 minutes will add up to how many hours per week? 3.5 hours.
There you go. So it's
3.5 hours per week.
Yeah,
you know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
So when you add all these up, it comes up to 168 hours of coding per year. You know, it's kind of like the amount of the hours of coding that a CS graduate does, right?
Yep.
Frankie?
Yeah. I don't know exactly how many hours a CS graduate does code. Honestly, I would say it's a little bit more than this. I would say more than 168. In my years of college, I'd say a little bit more than 168, honestly. But dude, if you code for 168 hours a year, like you're gonna
be a beast.
You're gonna be a beast, and it's not even about, guys. Really do take this into account. I'm gonna be very serious with you. I know we were having a lot of fun, but this is serious. If you are going to put in 30 minutes a day, like we were saying, it's not about putting in 30 minutes a day. It's the quality of the practice that you do. You can literally spend 30 minutes doing nothing, learning from the worst resources ever, and you're not going to get anywhere. It's not about putting in the 30 minutes. It's about the quality that you put in those 30 minutes. Perfect practice makes perfect. What is it? Perfect practice makes perfect. It's not just practice, okay? So make sure to get the good resources and put in the time.
And also like finding an excuse to say you don't have 30 minutes, it's just shit, you know? Like, you can go on Instagram and just go on Instagram for 30 minutes, you know. You don't feel that time. But if you can just put those 30 minutes into coding, without you knowingly, you're going to code for 168 hours in just a year, you know. And you're going to become a beast.
Yeah, man. You spend freaking 30 minutes a day just literally scrolling through Instagram, literally like not doing anything like that, bro. Like, just allocate your time a little bit better and be responsible. That's it. So that was how to code, how much you should code every day. Check out the Instagram if you guys want to see more diagrams like that. Amaanath and Yusuf are dropping really fire ones every single day, so check them out. So Amaanath was showing me this specific website, and I think it's really amazing, man. We were talking about different roadmaps or careers that you can take with just, you know, web development in general. So this is the website, and let's actually go to it.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Cool. So what is it called, man?
It's called roadmap.sh.
Make it bigger for you guys so you guys can see. Let's see. Does that look good? Okay, I think that's great.
Awesome. Yep, perfect.
So it's roadmap.sh. We'll try to put these links in the description below, guys. And this is kind of how it looks. So it's a different developer roadmap. So off the bat here, you can check out and you can see that there's front end, there's back end, there's DevOps, there's React, there's Android, Postgres, a little bit more back end, DevOps.
Yeah, also if we can just go to front end, we can show people how, the roadmap is.
Yep, and that's the cool thing about this website is if you want to learn a little bit more about front end, it's going to tell you the roadmap to it like right here. So front end developer, then the internet, how the internet works, how the websites work, how everything is connected together. And yeah, man, it gets very complex. If you do follow,
insane.
If you do follow it, man, it's really gonna help you understand, how everything is connected, what part of the journey each thing is in. Like here, you can see Bootstrap, the CSS libraries that we were just mentioning, or frameworks, and how progressive web apps are connected to whether that's
And
storage.
actually, the map only just looks so complicating, but the thing is, when you're using React, it's already progressive web apps, and also it's just simple stuff that you just overcomplicate. The map just shows you the roadmap, but it's not as complicated as it looks.
Yep. Yeah, take it step by step. Learn to digest it. Put a little bit of time into it. Just go through it so that it makes sense. So that's the front end roadmap. This is the back end roadmap, and it starts off the same. Showing the internet, what is HTTP, all of these, secure type of verifications, the domains, DNS, how all of that is connected, SQL databases.
And also, I think when they say about OS and general knowledge, I think seriously, it's kind of like more technical stuff. But if you're just starting out, I don't think you need to have a basic knowledge of how internet works and all this stuff. But I don't think you need to go really deep into all those stuff.
Yep, I agree, man. Don't go so deep into learning how a computer works, like how all of these things work. Most computer science students, they make them go through that route. I think it's beautiful to learn those things, but if you really want to get the skills, you really want to get the career, you really want to get the money and the actual knowledge, guys, make it practical. Actually drop the complexity. Like if you make it simple,
Exactly.
It's going to be easier for you to start. It's going to be easy for you to actually put things into practice, guys. So let's go a little bit into Android. These are all the different roadmaps, guys. Check them out. I don't think you should delve so deep into them, but there's so many different ways that you can tackle this. Whoops, so I'm going back to it again, but going back to the presentation. So these are the career paths, and honestly, guys, there's so much to do. We do want to wrap up because we've been talking about for about an hour. We want to, save your guys' time. Anything that you want to mention at this point, Amaanath?
So yeah, mic drop.
Yeah, like Obama.
Yep. Oh, you cannot drop that mic down.
Boom. That's right. Let's go. I'm kidding. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that
so guys,
go ahead, man.
take action, start coding, and also hit me up at wait, is it where like this?
Yep, it's right
Come
there.
on, come on. I just wait. Can I touch it?
Yeah, go a little bit down. Right there.
Oh
You got
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
quickly. So hit me up at amaanath.dev, and yeah, if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. Yeah, I'll be glad to help you guys. So
Yeah, guys, hit us up on Instagram. Amaanath has amazing knowledge. He's killing it for our Instagram, and he's also bringing so much knowledge to the whole community. We want to wrap this up, guys. Thank you guys so much. This is pretty much going to be, the roadmap that you should take if you are an absolute beginner in web development. You want to get an idea what to do. Hopefully, you had fun. Hopefully, you got good resources off of this. Hopefully, you also got a good mindset off of this that I know Amaanath has, and I have been working on it as well. It's a big part of being a developer. It's not all just technicalities, it's also psychology. So don't forget to take that into account. Now, before we do leave, I want to say that if you are serious about becoming a six-figure JavaScript developer, we do have the training for you. and this training Kazi put a lot of hard work and love into it. So if you're serious, guys, please go into the description below, because I really care about you guys' future. If you guys are serious about it, if you're not serious, nobody's going to be serious for you. So these top 3 mistakes that you should avoid when becoming a JavaScript developer training, I think is amazing, man. It's going to give you a lot of context onto what to do next, how to earn money from it, how to become a 6-figure developer. So go ahead and click the link in the description below to check that out. And in that training, you're going to see how to join Profit with JavaScript as well, because Profit with JavaScript might be one of the best resources, or I wasn't showing the screen. I thought I was, but Profit with JavaScript is one of the best resources out there so that you can pick up JavaScript and make money from it. So we're not all about the theory, we're actually all about the practicality. So practicality is what's going to make you money, what's going to build you skill, and here's the top 3 mistakes
Also, we have
training.
a special deal at the end, right?
Exactly, man. So if you do stick around the training, you'll see a deal at the end, and that deal is not shown anywhere else. But yep, that's pretty much it, guys. And like always, if you do enjoy our content, what should they do, Amaanath, for actually the 3rd time?
Smash it.
Hell yeah, just smash that like button until it turns blue, like Ram Stefan says. Check that guy out, he's amazing. Anyways, nothing related to this channel.
Blue.
Yeah, till
it turns blue.
Till your hand turns blue. Kidding. But thank you guys so much for being here. We ended up at 434 likes. Woo, that's amazing.
Ooh,
man.
That's amazing.
Almost 500 likes. How do you feel, bro?
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
So much love.
That means a lot.
Yeah, so much love from the community, guys. Thank you so much. Let's actually take practice into account, guys. Let's leave fear behind. Let's leave excuses behind. Let's change our lives. Let's take it serious. Let's give our future respect. And
are you ready to change your life?
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Are you ready? And if you are ready, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. That's about it, guys. Thank you guys so much. That was how to become a web developer in 2021.
2021.
Here with Frankie and also
Amaanath.
All right. Thank you guys so much. About to end it. Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you guys. Peace.